Let's get it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the YanBar Podcast. Bryan Barcelo, host of this episode. Today's guest, we got Ced MicDripper, aka, see, is it aka?
Ibuprofen Savelli.
Uh-huh. Now, Ced, that's what we're gonna go by today, right? Ced MicDripper?
Yeah, it's set stand for Checkmate Ebullient Dribbar. That's all. That's my rap name.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. See, man, I should do more research. So that was cool. And once again, thank you for joining this podcast. Appreciate you so much.
Likewise, thank you for having me here. There's people love on the back.
That's
Really
what's up.
appreciate it. Got some love for you. It was a pleasure meeting you. So I'm glad that we are connecting on various levels.
Same here. And I'd like to say hello to all the mothers out there. Shout out to you guys. Have a happy Mother's Day.
Definitely shout out to my mothers for bringing me forth in this world, and also shout out to my queen, being an amazing mother to my children. So, and that's Ideal Masterpiece. You were just on your show last week or so. So
Peace,
thank you.
Ideal. Yeah, she's a great guest, a great guest and stuff. Matter of fact, when we was talking, I recommended, I don't know if you guys discussed it, getting a podcast of your own and yourself too. I seen you guys in your videos. Man, you guys, I call you the dynamic duo. You two are really something else. Love to see you. But anyway, let's
Yeah,
get to
definitely.
you. Yeah, let's get to you. Let's get some of these questions out of the way. Now,
All right.
I saw that amongst let me see, I got down here is that you're let's see, multi-talented. It seems that you do some writing, martial
Yep.
arts, acting, artists.
Music. We actually have a concert coming up at the Eden Cafe on June 24th. It's going to be our first official big concert. And then we also have an art show. Our art is going to be in a reception showing the whole month of September at the Eden Cafe on Osborne Road here in Albany. And then on September September 8th, we're gonna have a artist reception. Follow from 6 to 8 p.m. and at 8 p.m. we're gonna have another musical performance.
Wow. Congrats on all that. Busy, busy, busy.
Very
Man,
busy, but we're making sure we are staying productive. Because you can be busy and not be productive. We gotta be productive.
understood. And that's a good point. Check this out. How do you find time for all of this stuff? Because I know outside of the entertainment and so forth, you have another life and stuff. How do you balance all of this, man?
Well, first of all, it's a myth we have to unpack, I should say. There's no such thing as work-life balance. It's work-life decisions, and they all have consequences. So once you understand that, you can focus on actually balancing it because it's not going to be balanced one day. You can just have to trade it in harmony, and that harmony just comes from the choices that you make.
Understood. So in a sense, it's all life. There's so much of a balance. It's all life and it's how you go about living
Yeah,
it, I guess. And that's a
it
cool
is.
way to look at it and stuff. Now, your acting that you've done, you care to speak about that some? I saw that you did some Hamlet. How'd
Yes,
you get
indeed.
involved with that?
Well, first of all, I'm a natural born performer. I've always wanted to act, but when I was at my senior year in high school at Albany High, Falcon Forever, and I'm saying class of 2014, shout out to all my peers that I graduated with. I have the blessing to be in a theater program, and I learned from the magnificent Wardsdale, who won the prize for the Golden Apple. So I got to learn acting from him. I was part of a theater. Then, what really kicked us off, there was a residence artist that came, Noelle Gentile. She's an amazing teacher. She came with the idea of creating a thing called the Identity Project. The Identity Project was a multimedia piece exploring the concept of identity. So I had the opportunity to get my chops in not only writing part of the script, I also perform in the Identity Project, and I also help choreograph some of the scenes in there. So we performed the Identity Project at Albany High School. We performed it at Capitol Rep twice, and it was crazy. It was great. Then after that, I got hooked up with Capital Repertory Theater because I formed a great relationship with them. Then I did the acting intensive program, and they had a resident an artist come from the UK. And shout out to Tim Dinihan. He has the credit in Batman Begins. Actually, he's an amazing actor from the UK. They had him fly over just to teach his class, and had the amazing opportunity to work alongside him. So I got to further my skill in acting in a very short period of time. I learned things like memorization technique, how to work with the concepts of my thick accents, speaking the English language. I got to work with learning stage combat and choreography. That's where I actually learned that. And given that I was already a martial artist, that was very, very perfect for me. So after that, I actually took it a step further. Capital Rep had a summer youth acting program where we literally spent a part of our summer literally rehearsing and prepping for 5 different plays where I played 5 different characters. I played a jock that was a bully. I played a few different roles that we had to play about like gun gun or gun violence and police brutality. It was a crazy shebang. Like we literally play 5 different characters in 5 different shows and we perform them all at Capitol Rep Theater. And that was before I graduated high school. Then I graduated
Wow.
in 2014. I went to opening class of pharmacy for 2 years. Then I decided I wasn't going to do pharmacy for now. I transferred to SUNY Albany. And then it was there that I hooked up with the ATV, that's Albany Television Club. And then we were doing various programs. And then as part of my class, I was in a, what was the class? It was Shakespeare for the Scene. It was my senior year. It was a writing intensive class where you essentially had to produce some sort of work. And since I always loved Hamlet, I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna write myself as Hamlet. So I wrote the script alongside with my crew. But the twist is, it was supposed to be an actual, how you doing? It was supposed to be a sort of a martial arts kind of show. So me and my partner that you see in the video, we're
Mhm.
actually rehearsing a martial art choreography that I put together. And then I was going so hard trying to make the martial art choreography come alive. I was practicing this crazy move, and then I hurt my shoulder.
Oh.
Like right before we had to actually perform it, I hurt my shoulder. So we couldn't do the martial arts scene anymore. So we had like 2 days to come up with a new script. That's how we had the idea to fight using chess. That's where that idea came. Yeah, the fight scene turned into a mental, spiritual fight through the game
Right.
of chess.
That's pretty smart. Went from a physical to yeah, that's brilliant. And check this out. One other thing, all of these different movies you're doing, and you mentioned they taught you memorization techniques. I've always wondered how these movie people, actors memorize lines. It seems, especially the movies with a lot of dialogue, action scenes. Something like "You killed my teacher." I get that. I can memorize that. But when you got
Yeah.
these very wordy movies, how do you guys go about doing that? And give us some tips.
Well, there's different school of thoughts when it comes to memorization technique. You're gonna have to find the one that works for you. But there's obviously repetition, going through the scene multiple times in different location. There's that, and there's also the mental image technique where you imagine the lines in specific location. So let's say you know your house pretty well, right? So you imagine the staircase as a specific line. You imagine your bedroom as a specific set of line. So you use mental images that you're very familiar with, and you associate that to whatever you're trying to memorize. That's
Understood.
that's one technique
Mhm.
that happened to work. But in the world of acting, there's a whole realm of technique and school of thought on a out of memorization. And then there's no substitute for repetition at the end of the day. Simply just memorizing your line and becoming one with the character. So one thing about Tim Dinihan or his teaching was very scientific. So as part of the course, he actually had us watch a TED talk that he did on YouTube where he was comparing acting to quantum physics. Since
Really?
I've always loved
I
all
said
his
go!
sciencey stuff, I was really able to connect with him at a higher level, and then being able to relate these advanced concepts with the act of the art of acting, I should say. Because when you are acting, you essentially being all human beings that can possibly be. So let me put it this way. So you are already all the characters that you can ever play because you are tapped into the collective source of humanity. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing
What have
but
you
a
done,
mental
James? You're
shift.
losing your grip, man. Why don't
And
you
by that
listen to
mental
this guy?
shift is really
Go listen
electrical
to him,
charge. It's
James.
nothing but
You're
a
doing
switch in
fix this
electrical charge
properly.
for you to tap in from this character into another character.
This isn't the way. We already went
So,
over
Yeah,
so
this.
that's
that's the
going to take
plan.
me a
You don't
moment
know
to
shit.
wrap my
James
mind
does.
around, but I see
I
what
You
you're
know.
saying.
done.
It's since we're in
James,
a
you don't
sense
need to do
one, we
this,
have
please.
access to
Both of
all of
you are
that.
just voices
So
in my
somehow
head.
you
Yeah.
can
I
go
do
from
what I
okay,
want.
that's
It's higher level thinking, and then it will really be helpful if you look up Tim Ginihan. He has a TED talk where he literally correlates acting to quantum physics, and he
No one needs
does
to fix
this
this
amazing
properly.
explanation with the experience they did with the drop, with the
This isn't the
quantum
way. We already
slits,
went over
and
this.
then the
You
analogy
don't
of
know
the
shit.
drop.
James
So like
does.
when
You know what needs to be done.
a water drop, like
James, you don't need to do this,
literally a
please.
water
Both of
drop
you are just
drop
voices in my
from
head.
like point
I
A
do what I
that's like
want.
high
We're
up
just
to
voices in your
point
head.
B.
We're a part of you.
You know,
And if I'm
there's the
still here,
difference
that
between
means that a part
is
of you still wants to
elevation at
part of you
point
still
B
wants
to
to keep
point
moving.
A, but
James, you need to stop
in
listening
all
to
the
this
various
guy.
levels that is
Just do
dropping,
what
there's
needs to
still
be
different
done.
levels.
And you need
And
to
that's
do
what
it
the
now. You need to
acting
stop feeling like
is like
everything's
is being
terrible
in
right
that
now. This isn't
moment
the answer
of
to
that
any
water
problem.
drop. Is
Look, this is a solution. This
you
is
yeah,
know.
you're
all you
right.
need to
That's
do.
pretty high.
Listen to
Like I
this,
said, it's gonna
James.
take me a moment to
Why
wrap
don't
my
you
mind
listen?
around that. But it's very interesting. And I'm familiar with that double
That's the
slit
point.
experiment.
We don't need
And
to
I'm
fix this
curious about how
properly.
they link the acting and the but he said the quantum what was
What
it?
do you
The
think is
quantum
gonna
Oh,
happen?
dynamics?
quantum,
What do you think is
yeah,
gonna
Yeah.
happen when we find
mechanics,
out the
Yeah,
truth?
quantum
quantum
mechanics,
physics,
yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting. I gotta see that how they did that. And once again, how you spell Tim's last name?
Or Dini is Deenihan. Shout out to Tim. He was a big catalyst into me gaining confidence in my acting skill and breaking through my shell and just really tapping into my mental capacity because I've always been a deep thinker. And just like he is, he was able to help me leverage that in order to really understand what acting is about and also relate that to other part of my life. And he was also a big advocate of method acting, which is, you becoming the character that you want to act. Are you familiar with
Understood.
method acting?
Yes. Yeah.
All
Matter of
right.
fact, the information that I sent to you guys, I don't know if you saw it. Remember we had talked about a movie and stuff. I want to talk about me, but the whole thing about it was all of the actors in it were pretty much going to be doing method acting. We set up the scene, let you know what's happening. You kind of feel yourself in that position and stuff,
Uh-huh,
and it ain't so much we give you the script.
uh-huh.
You know from there, what
Right.
to say and stuff. So you're just putting yourself in that position and stuff. And I think that's something like method acting and something.
And about that, we are
Mhm.
currently in the process of releasing a casting call, like we told you about. We want to cast a group of actors that are willing to work with us on a movie project. And
Mhm.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna capture all of the cast members first, and we're gonna reverse engineer a script from the cast member that we built.
Oh, wait a minute. That sounds interesting, but I don't think I'm fully understanding. You're going to reverse engineer. Explain that a little bit, please.
Well, this fall in the realm of uh, of device theater. If you study the advanced, is a new school of thought in theater where you make your script based on your cast. You don't make your cast fit your script,
Oh, wow. I am not understanding that, but I heard what you said. So it's the other way around.
right?
Instead of
So
having a worked out script and getting people to fit that, somehow you get a
yeah,
cast. And then from there, that's the part I don't understand. How do you write a script to the cast?
well, so you essentially do a workshop also. That came from when I was doing the identity project. When I was telling you, I had the
Mhm.
opportunity to write part of a script. I had the opportunity to act in a dance. I did a monologue in French and in English. So that experience really helped me fall in love with device theater, which was a new school of thought in theater. And the whole point is, in order to really tap into the identity of all your performers, your cast, so you can really get a full, genuine, best performance out of them. What the hell is calling me? Okay, I had a business call. I'll take that later. Let me tell him I call him back. Back. So, in order to really tap it into your actor's full potential, what you want to do is you want to do a series of workshop where you learn about all your actors, all their characteristics, what they like to do, what they've been through, how they feel about their identity. So you essentially literally devise their true identity, and then from those identities you go backward to make a script off of it.
Understood. How much
That's
does
device theater, and I love that.
how much does that add to production time to do with this method you're talking about? Device method, I think you call it.
So not that much, honestly. It doesn't have to be expensive to your production time. By expensive, I mean with an A. Like, it doesn't have to expend your production time too much, because that actually removes some of the barrier that you will encounter from doing the regular method of theater, because you'll have to deal with the people becoming other characters and not creating a character based on them. So that actually
Mm.
creates more cohesion in your cast, especially if it's your first time doing a project with them. It creates more cohesion and more chemistry in your cast, just on the fact that they know that they are literally acting who they are, even though the character may not be called, let's say Brian. Like, your character may not be called Brian, but that character is a direct extension of you, and then you will choose what part of you want to portray in that script, or
You
what part of
know,
you don't want to portray.
you know what? It just dawned on me. You're absolutely right. This is already done in a way with animation. When they have an actor, they usually make the animated character, look something like the actor. You know what I mean? They use
Yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, probably not the same thing, but okay, I see that. You know what? I kind of wish I was on my extended format, with you. I know you got time constraints, but you're super interested. It seemed like we can go off on a tangent, all kinds of things to talk
we
about.
can. We have to do it like an hour show, 2 hour show, so we can really break down some serious topic
All
for the
right.
listener, so we can really go on a higher level.
Let's do that. Let's do that. But for now though, I want to cover I want to speak about your writing. Because let me see
Okay.
what's your what's your pen name here? I love it. Ibuprofen Swavali
Suavelli, ibuprofen
Swavelli.
Suavelli. Yeah,
Yeah, and
as
that's
you
your
can
pen
see,
name.
yeah, I
That's
give myself plenty of names because I'm always rewriting and revising my identity, which is part of a process. But so that pen name came from when I was still in college, when I was in my undergrad years of college, I should say. So I got the opportunity to be published at the University of Albany in the literary magazine. That was my first publication. I wrote a poem called, what was it called? It was something about like my pen and my ink. So I created a poem using images, and I made a mental imagery of my pen and the ink being dark. It was very powerful. And then they told me, "Oh, this poem was very nice. We're gonna publish it." And it was like, "By the way, there's this company that are looking for poets. You should submit some more of your poems." And I said, "Great." And I was already in various poetry class. Like, I've always been a poet, so I was in an advanced poetry class at SUNY Albany. And as part of that class, you have to write a poem. And then there was this Russian poet that stuck out to me. I think his name was Kakowski. His name was Kakowski, something like that. I gotta find it, but he wrote it's called an elegiac poem. Elegiac poem is a form like highly advanced or literary technique where you follow a certain format to evoke feelings using very strong imagery. So I end up using that same format, and I wrote a poem called Pegasus Flies Away.
wow.
And and that poem ended up making its way into the anthology called New York Best Emerging Poets in 2018. You can actually find it on Amazon. I'm in page 150 and 151. That's where my poem was published in this anthology. And
Congrats.
I will be submitting, thank you, submitting more poems for upcoming years. But anyway, yeah, so that was my official me going into history as a writer,
That's
because
what.
that's an
And
anthology that's gonna be here forever.
yeah, and once again, your pen name.
Yeah, and my pen name Ibuprofen Suavelli, because when I was growing up, or my
Mm-hmm.
parents would call me Ibu. That was
Mm-hmm.
my name since childhood, and it came from my real name, which is Suhimbu, and if the short version of that was Ibu. And then when I was starting to rap, I always told, like, the reason why I rap is to heal people. So that's why I say my name would be ibuprofen, like ibuprofen.
Yeah.
So that's where ibuprofen came from. And then the Suavelli part came from the other part of me because I'm a smooth guy. I have a lot
Just
of
swab.
swag,
I got you. Yeah.
swag. And
That's
then
the drip, right? That's the
yeah, that's
drip.
the drip.
I actually had to look that up. I'm an old timer. So I had to look up what the drip was and stuff. I get it and stuff.
And
Yeah.
then I mixed that with the name of like Tupac. Like Tupac was Machiavelli, so it was Suave and Machiavelli. So that's how it became Suavelli.
Clever wordplay. I like that. Speaking of wordplay, your live performances on stage, your music. I saw you performing a week or so ago at Paulie's Hotel. They had that venue there. And one thing, matter of fact, let me get to it. And not just me, I loved your performance. One thing I liked this stuff, the movements. Gotta ask you how you did the movements. Matter of fact, I wasn't the only one. You didn't hear it, but off people were talking. They said, "Oh, I like it." I'm paraphrasing, but they were saying, "I like it," and they said, "You see the way he was moving." They found it intriguing. Can you explain that movement? How you came up with that?
Well, you talking about like the movement I was doing on
On the
stage?
stage, yeah, it was pretty cool. Suave, as you said, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm a natural born dancer amongst a lot of different things. So during my time in life, I always been dancing, and during my younger years, like when I first came to America around 2011, I was very acting. I was very active in the dance community as part of this African society here. So we did a few dance performances, and then I actually got invited to Harlem to do a dance performance, and I went with another guy from Ivory Coast, and then because they like our skills. So dancing has always been a part of me, and that's why I incorporate that in my entertainment because I love to dance, and as a martial artist, I have a very strong ability to move my body, which I'm always developing further. So these moves that I make, like it's like move from all the styles that I know. Like I know some African dancing, hip hop, some jazz, some modern dancing, some Latin dances. So I just mix them all together and create my own dance moves. And then
Understood.
and what I make is I make them match my current feeling or my current perceiving.
Understand, it's an amalgamation of all the different dance techniques. That's pretty cool. Anyway, whatever it is, keep it up because people is loving it and stuff, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
it's kind
gonna
of
remember that.
yeah, it's kind of cool if you can like listen to the crowd, they be talking and stuff, man. And like most time, I might be on stage or something, so I don't get to hear things. But when you're out there milling about, you hear people murmuring and talking, and it really was digging the moves, man. And also the
That's what's
song
up.
too, the music, the lyrics. Where do you get the music from? Does the music inspire your lyrics? Your lyrics you match it to the music, and who produces the music?
Well, that's a deep question. So I make I've learned along the years how to make instrumentals. I'm not the best at it. Otherwise, however, I know how to make good instrumentals. And recently, I've been I found this AI tool that I've been leveraging to create some instrumentals from scratch. However, recently I've really been enjoying performing on top of live music. I'm really, really falling in love with that more recently. So when I have the ability to literally match my lyrics to any live music that's being played. So like it doesn't matter what's getting played. Like I can match my lyrics to that. And these lyrics I was coming up with, that was off the top of my head.
Oh no way.
Yeah, that song I
Ad
performed.
libbing.
I was
Just
no, I was freestyle. I literally freestyle
freestyling,
that
yeah.
song on the spot.
Oh wow. Oh, okay, even more impressed. And check this out. We're going to be getting down to it. And it's customary, I like for the guests to have, in a sense, the last word. Like anything we didn't cover, something like you mentioned, words of wisdom or whatever and stuff. But before we do, make sure I got everything here on these notes and stuff that I have for you. Um, oh, your title you have on there, superstar, multidimensional artist, and social change entrepreneur. Explain some of those things, please.
Well, this is how I want to be perceived. So I am a superstar because I'm blessed by God, the infinite intelligence design of this universe with all these various skills and talents, and I use it for good. That's why I consider myself a superstar because I utilize my skills for good. And then behind our music and our art, we have created this love and peace movement that we've been published in Houston, ABC, Times Union, and various media outlets around the world for, because it's very influential. We utilize our skills, our art, and our music to literally spread the values of love and peace, and make people come together, bring the violence rate down, all these different things. So I am a social change entrepreneur in the sense that I use my entrepreneurship to bring about social change everywhere I go. And as a matter of fact, and this is the proven fact, when we started coming outside with our therapeutic art, we will go on Morton Avenue in Delaware. We would be at the park, setting up our table. We were handing out love and peace manual. We literally wrote, literally, essentially, it's sort of love and peace Bible to teach people how to they can spread love and peace with themselves and others. So we will literally be handing them out and letting people experience our therapeutic art. And then in that area, there used to be a lot of fights with the kids from like Hackett, from Green Tech. As soon as we came out there with our art, they stopped fighting over there. Literally, the violence rate went down in that specific area. And people
Good
would thank
job.
us for that. And then later down the line, people would say, "Oh, was it you guys at Morton Ave?" Yeah, that's how we got known for, because we literally went with the people. So that's why we claim the title of social change entrepreneur righteously so.
That's what's up. Speaking of art, I'm glad you mentioned it because we're getting down to it, and I wanted to bring your art up. You're right. It's tactile. I think you call it
Yes.
tactile. Would you explain some more about the art that you do quickly, and then we're going to get into the last words for you.
Well, so we are multidimensional artists, so we can do regular abstract arts. We do photorealistic arts. I can literally take a picture of you. I can draw you and paint you and give it right back to you. Not like literally, but we created our own style, which is what we call ATMAT, art therapy, modality, attraction, and treatment. And I literally had the opportunity to present this at a research conference in SUNY, the 17th undergraduate research conference. I presented this, and then you can find a video on YouTube. Everything I say is facts. You can literally see that there's a science behind our arts, and it's backed by academia and data. So what we did is we did the research in sociology, psychology, art therapy, public health, and then we mix all these together, and you get the understanding that by leveraging the visual effects of bright colors with the tactile effects of smooth and rugged surfaces, you can bring about a hypersensory input that can affect people's brain. That's the best way I can explain it.
And you did that well in the short time that we have. You know what? We definitely going to have to go to a long format podcast with you, man. You are so deep. Anyway, the last words, please. Leave us with whatever you want to leave us with.
Well,
In a
I
few
was thinking
minutes.
about that earlier because I knew you were going to ask me this, so I was preparing for that one. So what I want to leave with the people is that we all have the naturally given ability to to keep growing. Like, people have to be able to learn to tap into their inner self. I know a lot of people talk about that, but you have to find deep down inside of you the love, so you can make your love overcome the fears. You know what I'm saying? So it's essentially like the battle of good versus evil is also the same with love and fear. So you have to make sure your inner love and your outer love overcome your inner fears and your outer fears. That's number one. And number two, I want to let people know that this is something that I've been learning about, and I'm getting more and more concrete hold of it. That the only difference between you right now and you at your higher self with all your goals that you imagine is how fast you can develop yourself. So it's called self-development velocity. Like, what's the speed? What's the rate at which you can develop yourself? And that speed is determined by the awareness that you have about you and what you need to work on. So that's why they say, like, what you don't know that you don't know. Like, how fast can you uncover what you don't know that you don't know, so you can work on what you need to work on yourself, so you can get all the skills, the knowledge that you need to accomplish your goals. So
It's
that's what I want to share with
how do you
people.
go about finding out, knowing what you don't know? How do you go about finding that out?
Well, my theory on that process is not only meditating, getting insight from others by like actively listening to others, but getting or some sort of coaching and like learning from others. Like, this is my other point, and I read that from this personal development guru. There's a lot of people that go through their whole life and they don't invest enough time, money, sweat, blood, and tears into research and development, right? So you have to look at yourself like a company. Every big company have some sort of research and development like area where they literally just exist to research and develop themselves more. So you gotta have your own research and development area. That means you have to invest your time in educating yourself on personal development and skills in area that you are interested. So over the time you can improve who you are. And I'm gonna give a concrete example. So let's say you have Johnny and you have Paul. Johnny worked from 9 to 5, and as soon as he get home from work, he kicks his shoes off. He starts sitting down on the TV. He watch TV shows, play around with the kids. You know what I'm saying, love his wife. Then by the time it's like 9, 10, he goes to sleep and do it all over again, right? Then you have Paul. Paul get off work at 5. As soon as he get home, he's listening to a podcast on self-development. He's looking up courses online that he can learn on, let's say, crypto, because he's interested into crypto and finance. You know what I'm saying? And then as he's on his way to work, he listens to more podcasts. He has videos that he watched on what he wants to learn. He's highly focused on developing himself. You know what I'm saying? Like 5 years from now, John and Paul are going to be in total different stage in life. You know what I'm saying? Paul is going to surpass John by landslide. He won't be able to catch up again just because of the habit that he created.
Yeah, so it's like we all get 24 hours a day. It's just how you utilize them, those 24 hours. Understood. One moment, please. Say goodbye to everybody. Everybody, parting is such sweet sorrow. I forgot who said that.
I love you, man. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, we thank you guys for joining us. And we'd like to remind you to always, I'd like to remind you to check out our previous YanBar Podcast guests. And to always remember that the YanBar Podcast is the place for you. Make it happen. Once again, Bryan Barcelo here with Ced MicDripper, right? AKA, say that again, please.
Ibuprofen, Suavelli, Checkmate, Ebullient, Drug Box. You know where to find us.
That's
and our website is www.happyplacemultiverse.org. You can purchase our course online so you can learn how to make our artwork by yourself, so that can help you with your mental health and you can share with others. It's beautiful. This is about love and peace and nothing else.
Appreciate you. Everybody, we're going to put some links in the description for you guys to go check out. Man, Ced MicDripper, and continued success to you, man. And you guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know how that stuff works. We need that so we can get to more people. So help us out by doing that. Peace, everybody. Thank you, Ced. Come back again, man.
Yeah, thank you for having us, man. Love you much.
You're welcome, man. Peace.
Peace.
And let's stop.